Hello, I am MJ James. I am an autistic non-binary author of science fiction and fantasy. And it is Non-Binary November. If you are participating in the Non-Binary November readathon, it includes a bingo board here, but really the goal is to read books by non-binary authors and or with non-binary main characters. And as a non-binary author, all of my books technically count towards this. But I specifically want to talk to you today about my books with non-binary representation in them. The first book I want to talk about is The Immortal Part of Myself. This features Riley, who is agender and uses she, her pronouns throughout the entire book. And I did this on purpose because I wanted to show that pronouns are not related to gender identity specifically, and that even before I specifically told people my pronouns are they, them, that I was still a gender. And I really wanted this representation in a book, and so I did so in The Immortal Part of Myself. Now, Riley does explore their gender identity and does consider using other pronouns, and maybe she will in the future if I do decide to write more in this world. And if you would like me to write more in this world, let me know, because it's something I've been thinking about. But Riley finds out that her husband is plotting to have her killed because divorce is no longer legal, but murder is, as long as you don't get caught. But what he doesn't know is Riley is leading a revolution, and she uses her skills to get on a ship headed towards Mars, where she meets Maddie, and together they have to keep her safe. It does contain a sapphic queer platonic relationship, and I do call this my adult queer coming of age story because it talks about how not everyone can explore their gender identity and their sexuality while they're in an unsafe situation, and that sometimes it does happen later in life, and that doesn't make any of it invalid. There's a lot of me in this book, a lot of my own exploration and identity that I did use as a core base while I was writing this book, and it's a book that I am extremely proud of, and I hope you will consider picking it up. Next book I want to talk about is Neurodiverse. This is also science fiction, and it is about Jupiter Janai, who is non-binary and autistic, and they get fired from their job for being a little too autistic and a little too non-binary, something any of us who are autistic and non-binary I'm sure can relate to, because I know I could. That's why I put it in the book, and lately it's even felt more relevant. But Jupiter gets invited to interview for a position that comes with a mysterious virtual reality headset, and that leads to them getting involved in a virtual reality school for autistic children and in a political situation where they have to step up for their community, something that they are not comfortable with at all. Jupiter is one of my favorite characters that I've created because they're so brave, and I feel like if I can create a character that's that brave, that I want to live up to that personally. Next, I want to talk about Burke. Burke is book 3 in the Ember Town series, and technically the Ember Town series would technically all count because, again, non-binary author, and Burke is a side character on those books, but only in book 3 are they the main character, and this is where their story is really the focused. Burke is a non-binary NIP when they come out to their family, which is not entirely by choice. They ended up getting kicked out, but the community of Ember comes to their rescue, and they end up finding a new family. And this is all my stories are very personal, but this is another very personal story, coming to terms with losing my family when I did come out, and that really our family is who we choose to be with and not the people that gave birth to us. And the last book I'm going to talk about is Inside a Dark Space. This is my newest release and is the start of a trilogy. The entire trilogy has a non-binary main character. Finch is non-binary, autistic, and Era Ace. And they were sent to the moon as a canary to die for the real astronauts. But a decade later, they are still on the moon. This is a story that is a lot about what's currently happening, what has been happening over the last year-ish. It's about how no matter what they do to us as a community, autistic community, a trans community, that we are still going to survive it. It's not necessarily going to be the prettiest thing, but we will still be here a decade from now, and we may even be on the moon. I love Finch, and I'm so happy with how many other people have loved Finch as well, and I'm currently working on the second book in the trilogy with Only the Starlight, and would love if you would go down into the links below and follow the Kickstarter for that project. I'm no longer able to self-support my publishing journey now that I no longer have a job, so I really need your support to get the second book of the series out. I do think this is a very important story to tell, and I appreciate you helping me to tell it. So again, all of my books technically qualify for non-binary November, but those are the ones with specific non-binary rep that I wanted to feature with you. Let me know if there's any of them that you are interested in, or if you've already read any of them, your thoughts on them in the comments down below. As always, keep reading, keep writing, and keep dreaming. Until next time.